Well, now that we're into week 3, I thought I'd make a video talking about the sleep diary. You've all had a chance to use it for a couple of weeks. And I usually get a lot of questions this time of the class about the diary, and I just wanted to just sort of give you some of my thoughts about the use of diaries or journals or whatever you want to call them, and how they sort of play into this class and in the broader picture of health and wellness and health coaching and so forth. So we've been using diaries and journals for a long time, and there's quite a bit of data to show that they're useful in many ways. And I think the reasons why we feel like they're useful mostly centers around what it does for the user, him or herself. And so sometimes we get into this thinking about this from, a health coach side or a health professional side of what information we can get from a journal or a diary that we can then relay back to the client or patient. But I think it's really more about what the user gets from it rather than, information for us. It should be looked at less about like lab data, if you want to look at it from that perspective, that we might get in a healthcare setting, and more about a tool that we can use to see patterns of behavior. I think that's probably a good way to say it. So relative to the sleep diary, so you've used them for a couple weeks, and it's got a lot of data points on there. And one of the things I would like to emphasize, or I guess maybe clarify would be a better way to say it, is that the diaries and journals are designed, the one that you're doing is one that we designed for our lifestyle medicine program at Creighton. And it works for that in that context. But it doesn't work for everyone. It doesn't work for every scenario. It doesn't work for every person and their unique needs. And so I think we should look at diaries and journals in that, with that perspective, because we may need to do some modifications. So typically I'll get, at this time of the class, I'll get questions from students that say, this part doesn't work for me, and so what do I do? Do I leave it blank? Do I guess? So for instance, if you're using a device like a smartwatch or a ring that you can get data about sleeping from, that's great, because then it sometimes makes it easier to fill in some of those data points if we look at them as data points on a diary. And then other people say, well, I don't use those devices, so do I just guess how many times I'm waking up at nighttime and how long I'm awake? And the answer is yes. So, not everybody uses those types of technology, and if you do, great, but if you don't, great also. So you use it the best you can, and realizing that the data that you're getting is reflecting to how you're able to enter the data in. Okay, so again, we're looking not so much as lab value data points, making very reductionistic decisions based on those data points, as we are looking for patterns of behavior. And so we use the data we get from the sleep diary in conjunction with the other journals or diaries that we're using as well. For instance, in our lifestyle medicine program at Creighton, we use a lifestyle journal, and it has various lifestyle behavior activities that are asked of the user to enter in on a daily basis. Some of them are related to sleep, but minor. Some of them are related to stress. Some of them are related to their blood pressure, perhaps their blood glucose, if they're diabetic, and all kinds of information. Some of that information makes sense and works for some people, and some of it doesn't. And so how we use them is completely for the end user, right? So does this make sense for you to use it in this way? If it doesn't, then leave that one out. Don't answer it. It's okay. If you want to add data points to it, something that you're getting information from, say, a ring or a smartwatch, then add that to it. That's totally fine. So the point is to modify these tools and think of them, just as tools, but modify those tools to fit the need. And then once you've got the full picture, you're using the sleep diary, using lifestyle journal, you're using other collection, data collection, information collection sources, then you look at them together and you try to pull through, this is a pattern that I'm seeing, that I see when I get stressed that my blood pressure goes up, or I eat more when I sleep less. Those types of behavior patterns is what we're looking for. So the point in using a sleep diary for this particular course is for you to gain experience using it and to see how you like it. Because if you ask, a patient or a client to use a diary or journal, then it's always good to have had experience with one before that, so you can relate. But also, as a way for your own. This is again every bit as your self-development, your self-care as a student in this course as it is learning about a tool that you might use as a health coach or a healthcare provider. So there's lots of reasons to use it, and what I would hope you're not looking at it as, and this is the way most people do, and so this is the point in me making the video in week 3, is that you don't look at it as an assignment that I have to achieve this. I have a data point in everything so that I get full points for the assignment. That's missing the point of the assignment. It's really for you to experience using a sleep diary and using it in a way that it makes sense for you, putting the data in that makes sense for you. If there's data missing, you're not going to lose points for it, but that's something that comes out in your reflection. So the reason you write a reflection paper based on your sleep and sleep diary is that you can think about those things and record them and talk about them. To say it works for me in this way, it doesn't work in this way, and this is how I'd modify, or this is what I really like and would love to keep, and I think this might work in some settings, but it might not work in other settings. That type of reflection relative to the sleep diary is what I hope that you can get to using it. So don't think of this as I have to put some data point in every piece, or else I won't, I'll get less points for it. So don't think about the points. Don't think about the score you're getting. Don't think about the grade. Think about the usability and the use that you could have with that tool for yourself personally, but then also perhaps with people that you work with. So I hope that helps clarify. There are a lot of different types of diaries and tools that you could use. We use a lot of them in our program. This is just one example. And so if you have questions about it, it's a great opportunity to bring it up in the discussion boards for this course, or shoot me an email if you have something specific you'd like to chat about too. All right, hope that helped. Talk soon.